Hey everybody, John Grimsmo here, and today for Saga Saturday I have something interesting going on here. That's sort of an in progress thing that's going to happen over the next few weeks. So let's take a closer look. Like I showed briefly in last week's video, we use Nanook to make our packaging cases, much smaller than this, but we also buy some of their bigger cases for various tasks. For transferring parts between the front shop and the back shop, and in this case, for sending a batch of parts off to PVD coating. PVD is kind of a generic term for physical vapor deposition. Various different coatings, like on the end mills that we use in the machine shop, they are coated with usually titanium aluminum nitride, sometimes chromium nitride, sometimes depending on what you're trying to do. So we want to get those same coatings put onto our pens because they're sick and they look amazing. But first step in that is getting the parts safely to that vendor. It's the kind of process we can't do ourselves. It's $1 million piece of equipment and time and experience, and it's just not going to happen here. So we are going to ship parts to this coating vendor, also in Toronto. And what we did is the guys worked together and they designed these trays out of the same foam that we make our knife cases out of, pen cases and everything. And we designed a slot pattern in Fusion. And we milled them. Like the first one has square corners and it doesn't fit super well. So then we got a little bit more creative. We rounded the corners. We got it to fit really nice. And then we can fit at least 4 layers of foam into these. All kinds of different parts. So here we have pen tips. Here we have more tips. Underneath we have tubes. And these cases can be better. Revision 1, love it. Revision 2 and 3 are going to be even better. They're sized just so that they kind of slip into place, don't fall out. I'm not too worried about these squishing together because they're cinched in there nicely enough. Our pocket clips also go in there quite nicely. They have a good, suction fit. And then the tubes. And then these are the tricky parts, is the little round parts that don't quite fit in the rack and they're kind of awkward. Right now we use these racks to hold them, or ammunition racks. So we have our sliders, we have our threaded sleeves, and we have our buttons. These are all clean, so I don't want to touch them too much. But the current thinking is we'll use also a smaller Nanook case to hopefully fit these entire racks in. And then eventually we'll probably 3D print something to store inside a medium-sized case quite nicely. So when we started working with this vendor a few months ago, we sent them some sample parts, a couple dozen pens or something parts, and we tried kind of a lot of the different coatings that they make, everything from DLC to titanium aluminum nitride, chromium nitride, oxychrome, etc. See what the finish is coming back. Some were great, some were not so great, and there's a lot of back and forth building that relationship and that communication style to make sure that the parts we're getting back are primo perfect, because I hate scrapping parts. So on that note, one thing I did notice with these parts in here is that they're missing something, missing some clips, because I think the clips are in the tumbler right now. Let's go check on that. Beautiful day today in Ontario. I went paddleboarding this morning and it was fantastic. I've never done it before. Very slow process, very calming. It was nice to kind of slow me down a little bit. Here we are. And I think we missed it. I think he's washing them right now. So here in the finishing shop, we have our 2 vibratory tumblers from VibraFinish. I can take a look inside. So inside, we have various different medias. We have a corn cob, which we don't really use. Porcelain finishing stones, roughing stones. In here, these have insulated lids, so they're fantastic. In here, we're tumbling parts away. Nice. Cleaning. Ultra clean. What are you using there?
It is a ultrasonic brush.
Like a Sonicare toothbrush, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Does it work?
It's insane.
Nice.
Yeah. You hold on to this for a few minutes, your hand's vibrating.
Good, so all that tumbling kind of leaves a dust, sediment on the surface of a lot of the parts. So we got to clean them extremely well. Beautiful. All right, once those parts are cleaned and dried off and super clean, ready to go to PVD coating. I think they're shipping out tomorrow, so the guys are taking care of that. And yeah, instead of trying to do a bunch of different colors, like different coatings in one batch, we're gonna try to separate and have just like this whole box is one coating. So we're gonna do just that. We're gonna pick one of the coatings. It won't be DLC this time, even though we all kind of want that. Everybody wants DLC. But we had the most problems with DLC, both in the past 10 years we've been trying to do it, and then also the more recent experiments that we had done with them. So we got a few more kinks to work out, but I want this whole batch to be a successful batch of coatings, so we're gonna pick one of the other coatings. It's gonna look sick, it's gonna be amazing, and some of the coatings are actually significantly more durable than the raw titanium or than the anodized titanium that we do for most of our stuff, because they coat end mills in these coatings. It's like nuts. But everything has an upside, everything has a downside, whether it's cost or performance or reliability or repeatability or whatever. So we're hoping to nail everything and get this batch of coatings done primo perfectly. So that's my goal. We'll see in a couple weeks when they come back how they work out, and I will probably let you guys know, or they will just show up on the store eventually. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for this week. I will see you next week.